Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year! Today I thought it'd be a fun idea to kind of ring in the new year with my 2025 reading goals. So my reasons for making this video are twofold. Number one, I think it'll be fun to kind of share what I'm doing with you guys, and hopefully you guys will tell me some of your reading goals for this year, and it'll just be fun to hear what everyone's doing. And number two, to hold myself accountable. If I have video evidence where I have committed to my reading goals, hopefully I will do them. So that is basically it. Without further ado, let's get into it. So my first kind of overarching big goal is just how many books I'm trying to read this year. So I'm going to be trying to read 50 books. I have a feeling I will get up closer to about 75. So it's like a tentative 75, but I like positive reinforcement. So on Goodreads it will be 50. I'm going to try and read 50. And then hopefully with YouTube it will kind of make me read a bit more. At the end of last year I was averaging about 3 books a week, so I'm hoping with YouTube I kind of keep up that pace, and then I'll obviously read a lot more than 50, but we'll set it low for now, so we'll see. My second big goal for this year is to finish my physical TBR. Obviously this is like everyone's goal, everyone wants to do it. I have between 30 and 40 books on my physical TBR right now, and that seems very doable. I can definitely read that many, especially because there's quite a few on there that I think I can unhaul that I don't actually still want to read and I'm not still excited to read. So I think that's very doable. So I'm excited to do that and to just kind of make sure that I've read everything on my shelves and the other things on my shelves are things that I love. So I'm very excited for that idea and to work through my physical TBR. My next goal is kind of similar to my physical TBR, but that is finishing my Kindle TBR. I have a lot of random books on my Kindle which I got from like daily deals or BookBub and like random free ebook deals, which I just accumulated. Anything that sounded interesting I just got. So I went through this whole phase of like any ebook that I could get for free I would just get, but I'm trying to focus on stuff that I actually really want to read and I'm excited to read, because there are so many books on my TBR and so many more that I discover every day that I'm interested in reading. So I just want to prioritize the ones that I want to read, but I want to kind of have a fresh slate. So I did a video last year where I cleared out my Kindle and my Kindle TBR, but I want to make an active effort this year to read off of that, and anything that's left at the end of the year is gone. So that will be a good way to kind of restart, have it fresh, and hopefully make my way through some of those books. My next goal, which is also kind of a completionist goal, is to finish my ongoing series. So I have a lot of series that I'm reading at the moment, which are either long, so there's a lot of new ones coming out, and it's kind of like a cozy mystery series, so there's a couple coming out each year, which I'd love to get caught up on so I can just read the new ones. But then as well, I have a lot of series that I'm interested in starting that I don't want to add both to my brain to have like them continuing to go on, but also just to that list. And especially with these mystery series, I'm happy to kind of let them ride because each one's kind of self-contained. But with any other, like, especially fantasy, I like to finish that. And I have a lot of fantasy series that I want to read, but I'm kind of apprehensive too because I have so many other series going on. So any series that I can kind of either stop reading and just decide I'm not going to continue with, or finish, or get up to date with, I would love to do that. So that is my goal for this year, is to get up to date on all my series. My next goal is kind of against the spirit of my first ones, but that is to DNF 10 books. I suck at not finishing books. If I'm not enjoying a book, I feel bad not finishing it. One, because I want to know what happens, but two, if I've put it in Goodreads, it feels like a bit of like a sunken cost fallacy. I feel bad just chucking it out, so I need to finish it. But that's terrible, because again, I have so many books that I'm excited to read. There are oodles on my TBR, and there are so many books that I know I'm gonna love, or that I will have a better chance of loving than continuing the book that I know I'm not enjoying now. So, for this year, I want to DNF 10 books. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think I can do that. But I struggle so much with actually DNFing it, so it's going to be tricky, but that's why I'm putting it in the video, so I have to do it because I'm holding myself accountable. As well, this kind of applies to series as well. I know I talked about it just a minute ago, but I want to DNF some series. If I'm not loving it anymore, or it's not 4 or 5 stars, if it's just a 3-star, I can read 3-star stuff. I know what a 3-star read looks like for me. I don't need to continue with the series when there's potentially new stuff out there that I'm going to enjoy more. So I think this is a good goal for me. The next thing I want to focus on this year is reading less audiobooks. I find my reading comprehension for audiobooks is just terrible. One, because I don't listen to them on anything less than like 2 times speed, which is just because I talk fast, my brain talks fast, like my inner monologue, so I need it to be quick. but it's not the speed that I'm worried about because I've listened to them at 1 time speed and I still don't really follow, but it's not a good medium for me. I'm fine to do that for my cozy mysteries or kind of light reads, but anything substantial I really want to read physically, which I did last year a bit, but I really want to minimize my audiobooks. It is hard because, especially when I'm like driving or like going to the gym or going for a walk, they're fantastic and it's easy to kind of tick off books from your goal or what you need to read, but I don't like comprehend it or retain it as well, so I'd really like to minimize my audiobooks for this year. Okay, my next goal is to expand the genres that I read. So at the moment, especially the last year or two, I've read pretty much only mysteries. There's been a couple other genres in there, but it's been basically just mysteries. So I used to be a massive fantasy reader and I loved fantasy, but I got burnt out on fantasy. So I have quite a few series and books that I've accumulated that I'm excited to read. So I want to get back into that and kind of dip my toe in. And then as well, I've been reading more thrillers the last little while, so that's a genre I'm pretty new to. I'd say I started reading that about last year or two. So I want to read some more of those and kind of move away from my cozy mysteries quite so much, because I read it, I know I'm going to like it, but I want to, challenge myself, push myself, experiment with new things. I really want to push myself to read some genres that are completely new to me, like horror, literary fiction, poetry, classics. Those are kind of my big ones that I'm really wanting to read more of, because there's so many classics I'm interested in and want to read. I have some horror books that have snuck into my TBR that I'm interested in and want to read. Literary fiction, definitely. I would like to get kind of more depth in my books and more emotional stories and stuff that's going to make me sad and that kind of thing. I don't like reading stuff that makes me sad or watching stuff that makes me sad, so I want to push myself and challenge myself and kind of expand my reading tastes and see what else, tickles my fancy. And then poetry I've been wanting to read for ages, so I think that'll also be it's just very different to what I'm used to reading, so I'm excited to kind of push myself and read from new genres. My last goal is to kind of minimize my physical reading. So I have spoken before about how much I love my Kindle and I read on my Kindle all the time. I love e-reading. It is by far my favorite format of books, but I still have a decently large physical collection. It's not that big and I've been whittling it down for quite a few years now, but I want to be ruthless and get rid of books that I don't need to keep the physical copy of. And I'm very hesitant to get rid of books that I haven't read yet, because I'm always like, what if I love it and then I want to keep it? But that rarely happens. And even so, I'm kind of okay with keeping those for this year because I'm trying to finish my physical TBR. So I'm hoping they'll be out of here pretty soon. But as well, if I buy the first book in a series and I read it and I like it, and let's say it's a trilogy, if I don't love it, I'm probably not going to buy the second and third books because it's just not worth it to me. And I used to kind of be like, okay, I love secondhand book shopping, and I would go and I would, wait until I found the rest of the series. But I just don't think that I want to kind of hang around and hold on to these books until I get the full collection. And especially if I know I'm not going to reread them, there's so many other people that are going to love them and cherish them, and I would rather someone else read it and love it. So I'm going to be kind of unhauling a lot of books this year, both TBR books, once I've finished reading them, kind of reading them to unhaul them, but then also books I've read that I know I'm not going to reread, or if I don't love. I would love to just have books that I love on my shelves, especially because I'm moving a lot, so they're so difficult to move. Books are such a pain to move. Especially because I baby my books, I bubble wrap them, wrap them in bubble wrap. So yeah, that's a pain. So I'd like to kind of minimize those books. And then as well, when I do buy a book, I don't want to buy it new. Books have gotten so expensive. So I've been really kind of prioritizing buying secondhand books, especially because there's so many great secondhand bookshops around, and most libraries have them, which is fantastic because you're supporting your library, or it's usually charities that have them, or even those little free libraries. So I'm really going to be looking to those more for these kinds of books. And as well, when I kind of want to read a physical book, I don't mind buying it there because it's 50 cents or $1. So with that, I don't mind buying a book for that much to read it and then pass it on to someone else. So and then as well, just using my library more. I use my library almost exclusively for my ebooks and my audiobooks. Any ebooks, I don't buy ebooks at all. My library, thankfully, is fantastic, so I get almost any ebook that I want pretty quickly, or audiobook. They almost always have them. And if not, then I can go to my physical library here and see what they have. So there's usually an option for me to kind of find it and see where I can get it, rather than buying it and adding to my collection, which again, I had that time in my life and I really enjoyed it, but it's just not practical for my life anymore. And like I said, I want to pass on those books and just let someone else love them and read them. And then especially because I really hate reading hardcovers now. There's so many books that I will literally have a physical copy of, and I will still get it on my Kindle from the library whilst I'm reading it, because I just love reading on my Kindle so much more, especially because I read before bed, so it's so much more convenient reading in bed with my Kindle. So yeah, that's just a bit of a practical goal, and of course saves money and space. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave me a comment below letting me know what your 2025 reading goals are. If you like this video and want to see more from me, hit like or subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram or Goodreads with the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye!